Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Sumana Kutoni and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Russia closes airspace to 36 nations, including Canada. Trump slams Trudeau for the tyranny of Canada's treatment of Freedom Convoy protesters. On individual decision for Canadians to enlist to fight in Ukraine, says Trudeau's foreign minister. Ford set to announce $15 minimum wage for gig economy workers. Canadian restaurant scrubs poutine from slogan in solidarity with Ukraine. New international travel rules that will make it easier and cheaper to return to Canada take effect today. Doug Ford says we aren't far away from dropping Ontario's mask mandate. Immigration Minister commits to speeding up work permit processing. FIFA and UEFA suspend Russia from all competitions until further notice. MLB lockout talks recess will resume Monday.
Those were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details.
Russia has closed its airspace to carriers from 36 nations, including European countries and Canada, responding to their move to close their respective airspaces to all Russian aircraft. The move follows a decision by the EU and Canada over the weekend to close their skies to the Russian planes in response to Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. It added that planes from those countries could only enter Russia's airspace with special permission. Speaking at the Conservative Political Action Conference on Saturday in Florida, former U.S. President Donald Trump harshly criticized Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government for its treatment of protesters from the Freedom Convoy. We stand with the truckers and we stand with the Canadian people and their noble flag to reclaim their freedom, said Trump to massive applause. During the event, Trump also announced his intention to run for office for a third time in 2024, telling the crowd that Democrats are going to find out the hard way, which it means to lose. The Ontario government is set to introduce new legislation today that will give app-based gig workers fundamental rights, including a $15 minimum wage and transparency when it comes to their tips. The Progressive Conservative government increased the minimum wage in Ontario to $15 an hour in January and chose to include liquor servers who were previously making $12.55 per hour. Gig workers were not included in that legislation.
Or, like a growing number of people, a rideshare app. In Ontario, we aren't leaving any workers behind, absolutely no one. Rideshare app drivers are hardworking women and men striving to make a living in the new economy, the gig economy of digital platform workers. They deserve every opportunity to earn a living and provide for their families. That's why I'm pleased to announce that later today our government is introducing groundbreaking new labor legislation. Legislation that would make Ontario the first province in Canada to establish a minimum wage and other important rights for the digital platform workforce. Those rights include more clarity around hours and pay calculation, protection against dismissal from a digital platform without proper notice or explanation, and the guarantee that any tips or gratuities that workers earn will remain where they belong, in that worker's pocket. In the last 2 years, we've seen huge shifts around traditional labor markets, and as we build a resilient economy, our government must keep pace with those changes. We know that the gig economy is one of the fastest growing employment sectors in Ontario, and that as many as 1 in 5 Canadians currently take on work via a digital platform. That's fully 20% of the population. So we're listening directly to them and understanding how we can create the environment to help them thrive. Because government can't create the jobs, but we can create the right conditions and environment for businesses to flourish and jobs to grow. Earlier today, we had a tremendous roundtable discussion with small business owners from all over the province. Hardworking entrepreneurs on the leading edge of creating Ontario's economy of tomorrow. And they reaffirmed the need to guarantee for all workers their pay, hours, and benefits. They want fairness and to have their work recognized as it should be. Well, my friends, our government listens to workers and is here to work for them, because protecting our digital platform workforce is more than just making sure that our labor laws stay up to date. It's about achieving our promise to make Ontario the best place anywhere to live, work, and raise a family. Our province has come so far, and we can't afford to go back to the politics of no. Instead, our government is saying yes. Yes to building, yes to investing, and yes to workers. Friends, let's say yes to the better and brighter future that the people of Ontario deserve. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario.
A famous Canadian restaurant in Quebec and self-proclaimed inventors of protein changed their slogans, the inventors of fries, cheese, and gravy, in solidarity with Ukraine. Known primarily for its preparation of Canada's famous gravy-based dish, the restaurant expressed the deep dismay at the situation in Ukraine, posting an announcement on Facebook with the company's logo in Ukraine's blue and yellow flag colors to state that it has chosen to temporarily X the word poutine from its trademark to express in its own way its deep distress at the situation in Ukraine. New rules that will make it easier and cheaper for Canadians to travel internationally amid the COVID-19 pandemic are now in effect. Canadians were previously required to produce a negative molecular test upon re-entering the country, but as of today, travelers will instead be able to opt for a cheaper rapid antigen test. The change is expected to make international travel a little easier, as rapid antigen test results can be available within 15 minutes and at a much lower cost than obtaining a molecular test such as PCR. In addition to changing the testing requirements to enter the country, the federal government has also changed its isolation rules, so unvaccinated children under the age of 12 will no longer have to avoid schools, daycare, and other crowded settings for 14 days following their return to Canada. Fully vaccinated travelers selected for the random testing at the airport will also no longer have to quarantine while they await their results. Ontario isn't far away from dropping the provincial mask mandate, but it won't do so until the top doctor approves it, Premier Doug Ford says. Ford was asked about the mask mandate during a press conference on Monday about creating a minimum wage for gig workers in Ontario. We aren't far away, so let all continue working together, Ford said. Ontario is only one day away from dropping nearly all of the COVID-19 restrictions, including the vaccine certificate program in most settings. Last week, Immigration Minister Sean Fraser told the committee that IRCC will use its $85 million budget to reduce the processing times that have been exacerbated by the pandemic. The minister had previously announced that the service standards for work permit, study permit, proof of citizenship, and permanent residence card renewal will return to normal by the end of 2022. When the pandemic hit in 2020, IRCC operations around the world halted operations. The results eventually led to the backlog in applications. As of February 1st, IRCC has more than 85,000 work permit applications in its inventory. FIFA and UEFA has suspended Russia's national and club teams from all competitions until further notice due to the country's invasion of Ukraine, the body said in a joint statement on Monday. Negotiators for locked-out players and owners recessed their talks until Monday, the day Major League Baseball has set as a deadline to salvage March 31st openers. MLB said that by the end of Monday's session, whether it finishes, either there will be a deal or league will begin to cancel regular season games. MLB said that was the latest an agreement could be reached to allow enough training time to start the season as scheduled and play 162 games. The union proposed a pre-arbitration pool to have $115 million distributed to 150 players, and management proposed to $20 million to split among 30.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Simona Cutoni, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Adios.